There are many cultures with a concept of relationships and beauty that is very different from what most of us have, but there is a place in the world where divorce is a source of great pride and where young women seek to gain weight in order to find a husband, to the point that there are places known as weight gain rooms to help them gain weight. In this new video from Uncensored World, we will learn more about Mauritania, one of the most extreme and unknown countries in Africa, but as you will see, also one of the most fascinating. Mauritania, a predominantly Muslim country where some men can have as many wives as they want, and where, if a woman gets divorced, she becomes more desirable in the eyes of men, as she becomes part of the exclusive market of divorced women that you will soon discover. A society where female empowerment is so strong that there are communities where it is the men who hide their faces under veils and compete to win over women. A land of mysteries that has fascinated adventurers for centuries, with gigantic mud mosques, camel races among the dunes, and cultures such as that of the Tuareg, legendary nomads who survive the most hostile desert on the planet, thanks to secret codes that guide them to oases hundreds of kilometers away by observing the stars. A country that preserves ancient traditions, such as paying for brides with livestock, where children learn to ride camels almost before they can walk. A country with surprising curiosities, such as having the longest train in the world, known as the Desert Train, which is home to wonders that border on the unreal, such as the inhospitable Ténéré Desert, an ocean of burning dunes, considered the hottest and most dangerous on the planet, or the Coast of Skeletons, one of the most mysterious and dangerous places on the planet. Pay attention and don't miss this video, because we assure you that discovering this country will surprise you. Let's begin. In a remote corner of West Africa, hidden among endless dunes and coastlines full of mysteries, lies Mauritania, a country that unites completely different worlds, the relentless Sahara in the north and Black Africa further south. It is a territory almost frozen in time, where tradition and survival are intertwined. With more than 1 million square kilometers, almost half the size of Mexico, Mauritania displays a mosaic of landscapes that seems unreal. Endless deserts dotted with oases, beaches bathed by the Atlantic, and plains where acacias and other heat-resistant species grow. The capital is Nouakchott, while Nouadhibou stands out as the country's most important port. Despite its enormous size, the population barely exceeds 4.5 million, making Mauritania one of the least densely populated countries on the planet. Surviving here is no easy task. The harsh sands of the Sahara, extreme temperatures, and water scarcity have forged unique cultures that have learned to adapt in surprising ways. The Tuareg nomads, for example, travel hundreds of kilometers guided only by the stars, the winds, and the position of the dunes, passing on secrets from generation to generation. A land of mysteries that also boasts impressive mud buildings, such as the Mosque of Chinguetti, declared a World Heritage Site by UNESCO, considered one of the oldest and most emblematic in the country, built entirely of mud and stone, or the Mosque of Ouadane, another example of mud architecture adapted to the desert. But before delving into these traditions and realities, it is necessary to understand where its name comes from and what history this country of contrasts holds. The word Mauritania comes from the Latin Mauritania, which referred to the Maori, inhabitants of North Africa during the Roman Empire, although the region has evolved over the centuries to become the modern Mauritania we know today. Mauritania has a past marked by interactions between Berber, Arab, and African peoples, a crossroads of cultures that made it a strategic point for trans-Saharan trade. For centuries, caravans crossed the Sahara, transporting salt, gold, slaves, and other goods, connecting Mauritania with the Maghreb and sub-Saharan Africa. These desert routes, some of them close to the deadly Ténéré Desert, shaped the survival of its inhabitants and forged nomadic communities such as the Tuareg, who still dominate vast regions of the country. In the 19th century and early 20th century, Mauritania became part of the French colonial empire, integrating into what became known as French West Africa. The colonial administration introduced modern political structures, limited infrastructure, and trade relations that still influence contemporary Mauritania, although much of the territory remained isolated and connected mainly through the desert. Today, Mauritania is a country with a Sunni Muslim majority, i.e., the branch of Islam followed by most Muslims in the world, which is characterized by respect for the tradition and teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, according to the majority community of believers. Arabic is the official language, while French remains the main language inherited from the colonial period. In addition, Berber languages, such as Hassaniya, spoken by many Arab and Tuareg communities, are preserved in nomadic regions. The colonial past, trans-Saharan trade routes, and adaptation to the most extreme desert have left a profound legacy. Mauritania is today a country of contrasts, where modern life coexists with ancient traditions, and where survival in areas such as the Ténéré continues to dictate how to inhabit the desert, organize and preserve unique customs. But in addition to the most lethal desert, which we will learn about in more detail later, this country has a coastline, and one of its areas is famous for its extreme danger, known as the Shipwreck Coast or Skeleton Coast. It gets its name from the large number of shipwrecks and skeletons of ships and animals found in its waters. This region has witnessed numerous maritime incidents over the years, caused by difficult weather conditions, treacherous currents, and the presence of sandbanks and reefs. Ships passing through this region often face challenges such as strong currents, dense fog, and sudden changes in sea conditions, which increase the risk of shipwrecks. In addition, some shipwrecks may be related to illegal activities such as illegal fishing or even worse. For years, the African coast has been notorious for maritime piracy, where criminal groups seek to hijack ships in order to demand million-dollar ransoms. Among these dangerous areas is also the Mauritanian coast, a rather dangerous place for ships if we add to this reality the strong currents, dense fog, and hidden reefs of this part of the world. Despite these dangers, another important fact about this coastline is that, along its more than 700 kilometers, there are nearly 600 classified species of fish, of which more than 200 can be sold commercially. That is why fishing is one of the country's main economic activities. In fact, a large part of the fish and seafood consumed in Europe comes from Mauritania, although many people are unaware of this. This makes the coast of Mauritania one of the richest coasts in the world. If you are enjoying this trip, give us a like now. It costs you nothing, and by doing so, you help us to create these documentaries so that you can learn about the world and its curiosities. Thank you. This may surprise many people, as many believe that Mauritania is dominated by desert, and they are not wrong. In this country, up to 75% of the territory is covered by the Sahara Desert. This desert is the largest hot desert in the world, and the third largest after Antarctica and the Arctic. The term desert does not only refer to expanses of sand or the lack of population, but is also defined by its scarcity of rainfall. Many people would not have imagined it, but yes, both Antarctica and the Arctic are considered deserts, as they receive very little rainfall. Although when we talk about deserts, we tend to imagine endless dunes and oases, the truth is that their landscape is constantly changing, also featuring rocky mountains and idyllic beaches. Surviving in the Sahara Desert is no easy task, and even less so in this region of the planet where the Ténéré Desert is located, the hottest on the planet, and also one of the most arid, lethal, and empty areas in the world. The Ténéré is known as the desert within the desert, and with good reason. Here, for hundreds of kilometers, there is not a single tree, not a single shadow, not a single natural source of water. However, it is precisely for this reason that unique cultures have flourished here, cultures that have managed to adapt to inhuman conditions, such as that of the Tuareg, whom you will soon learn more about. Returning to the Sahara, another little-known fact about Mauritania is that it is home to the longest train in the world. This train, known as the Desert Train, crosses the Sahara to cover the 700 kilometers that separate the cities of Zuwaira in the north of the country and Nouadhibou on the Atlantic coast. It is considered the longest train in the world as it is made up of more than 200 carriages, pulled by 4 locomotives with a length of up to 3 kilometers, transporting minerals such as iron and stones from various quarries in the Sahara. Very few people know that it is possible to travel for free in the last carriages of this train, a practice that some adventurers and desert lovers take advantage of when traveling through Mauritania. These carriages, generally intended for cargo and local workers, allow those who dare to climb aboard and accompany the journey at no cost, experiencing firsthand the trip through the country's vastest and most extreme desert. Whether traveling by train or other means of transport, another unique and little-known fact about Mauritania is that this country is the gateway to what is known as Black Africa. Mauritania borders Western Sahara and Algeria to the north, and Mali and Senegal to the south, acting as a hinge between the Arab world of the north and Black Africa of the south. As a result, this country blends the culture of the Berbers of the desert with the more ancestral culture of Black Africa. The language, music, food, and clothing vary according to the different ethnic groups present in the country, as the races and traditions are very different depending on where you are. For all these reasons, reality in Mauritania is very different from that of the Western world, as not only can men have several wives, but in many regions a man can legally have up to 4 wives, and marriage often involves the payment of a dowry in livestock or other goods. A fascinating part of this nomadic life is the relationship between children and camels. From a very young age, they learn to ride camels, not only as part of everyday life, but as an indispensable tool for education and survival. Many travel dozens of kilometers each day to go to school or reach villages where classes are held, braving the extreme heat of the desert and learning to master these animals from the moment they are barely able to walk. This skill is not only practical, but also a symbol of the Mauritanians' adaptation to the Sahara and their ability to survive in one of the harshest environments on the planet. All this diversity also has a lot to do with the fact that Mauritania is not a homogeneous country, as it is home to more than 10 different ethnic groups. The Arab Hassania and the Pule are numerous, but there are also the Soninka, Wolof, Bambara, and the mythical Tuareg, known for their blue caravans and their nomadic life in the middle of the desert. In these societies, each group preserves its language, clothing, rituals, and worldview, forming a melting pot of cultures that, although often forgotten by the rest of the world, is one of the most vibrant and resilient in all of Africa. One of the curiosities that also makes this country unique is the way its communities adapt to one of the hottest and most arid environments on Earth, where survival requires cultural and social strategies that are very different from those in the West. Polygamy remains a common and socially accepted practice, especially in rural areas. A man can have several wives at the same time, which not only reflects his social status, but also ensures help with household chores, farming, and livestock, which are essential for the family's survival. To obtain more wives, many men exchange cattle in a practice known as dot, or bride price. This system is not simply an economic exchange. The number and quality of the animals offered can make the difference between the bride's family accepting or rejecting the proposal. And the more prestigious or numerous the cattle, the greater the honor and social recognition of the suitor. In addition, the dot may include other forms of wealth such as horses, camels, or even agricultural goods, depending on the region and the traditions of each ethnic group. Sometimes young men must travel long distances across the Sahara, facing sandstorms, extreme heat, and water shortages, just to reach the largest livestock markets and fulfill this ancestral obligation, thus demonstrating not only their commitment to family and tradition, but also their endurance and ability to survive in the desert. But probably the tradition that most attracts the attention of much of the world discovering Mauritania is not the dowry, but the fact that Mauritanian women, when they divorce, become more desirable in the eyes of much of the country's male society, a reality known in Mauritania as getting on the train of life. In this almost 100% Muslim country, divorce is so common that many people have been married between 5 and 10 times, and some even more than 20 times, according to some statistics. Many sociologists believe that Mauritania has the highest divorce rate in the world, although there is little reliable data on this, partly because divorce agreements there tend to be verbal rather than documented. One reason why divorce is so common and well regarded in this country has to do with the fact that the majority community in the country is known as Maur, an ethnic group that inherited strong matriarchal tendencies from their Berber ancestors. For centuries, divorce parties have been a positive way for the country's nomadic communities to spread and extol the status of women, helping to improve the quality of life of their people. That is why, compared to many other Muslim countries, women in Mauritania are much freer, so much so that they can follow a practice known here as the marriage race, as if it were a university degree, thanks to which it is well regarded for them to marry several husbands over time. Although women in Mauritania enjoy greater freedom than in many other Muslim countries, society still has very powerful rules, such as fashion and beauty standards. That is why, for centuries, in Mauritania and some neighboring countries, female beauty has been associated with size and fatness, considered a symbol of health, status, and prosperity. Therefore, gaining weight is not only acceptable but celebrated, and from a young age, girls are encouraged to increase their size to be more desirable in the eyes of future husbands. This practice has given rise to a unique and surprising custom, so-called weight gain rooms, where young women stay temporarily to gain weight intensively. In these rooms, supervised by family members or caregivers, the young women follow high-calorie diets and rest for much of the day, while learning to adapt to the changes in their bodies and prepare for married life. The routine in these rooms may seem extreme to a Western observer. The young women eat up to 5 or 6 times a day, with dishes rich in milk, butter, and dates, as well as bread and traditional foods that are high in calories. Periods of rest are combined with light exercise and massages that help distribute fat evenly. All of this is part of a deeply rooted social ritual that seeks to ensure that future wives meet local beauty ideals. This tradition is not only aesthetic in nature, it also reflects economic and cultural aspects. In an environment where wealth is measured in part by livestock and family resources, a woman who meets the community's beauty standards increases her prestige and marriageability. In this way, fattening becomes an almost educational ritual, in which young women learn about their future social and family roles while caring for themselves and preparing for marriage. Interestingly, these fattening rooms also function as spaces for socialization and cultural transmission between generations. Young women share knowledge about cooking, home care, social skills, and local traditions, turning the experience into a comprehensive learning experience on how to manage adult life in Mauritania. In this way, the practice of weight gain, which may surprise a foreign visitor, is naturally integrated into the education and culture of Mauritanian women. In this country, because of all this, divorced women, especially if they have been through the fattening rooms, are seen as experienced and therefore more desirable, which is why it is believed that in Mauritania, divorce can even increase a woman's value. This situation has reached such a point that a phenomenon known as the divorced women's market has emerged in Mauritania in recent years, a space where Mauritanian women, especially divorced women, work at stalls in some streets of the country's capital to make ends meet. In these markets, Mauritanian women who have divorced set up stalls where they can sell all the furniture, clothes, or belongings they had in their ex-partner's house. Furniture that, like women, seems to gain value in this country after divorce. This is because, according to Mauritanian culture, when a woman divorces, she begins to trade, buy, and sell, and her situation improves. Apart from this, she becomes more beautiful and experienced, and therefore more desirable. So it is common for divorced women in the country not to remain in this marital status for long, and to have many suitors. Before continuing, we would like to ask you, what do you think about this? Do you think that a woman or a man can be more desirable if they are divorced or have gained weight? How do you prefer them? Pause the video and leave us your opinion. Doing so is the best way you can support us and collaborate by being part of Uncensored World, so thank you. This reality means that the new husbands of divorced women take better care of them than before, apparently creating a vicious circle that encourages divorce, and has a lot to do with the statistics you saw earlier, which indicate that most Mauritanian women have been divorced, some more than 20 times. But these social realities probably do not fully reflect the strength and resilience of the communities that inhabit the most extreme and arid regions of Mauritania, where daily life is marked by challenges that the rest of the world can hardly imagine. In this scorching desert, where temperatures can exceed 50 degrees during the day and drop below 5 degrees at night, lives one of the most enigmatic nomadic peoples on the planet, the Tuareg. This community is known as the Blue Men because of the intense indigo color of their tunics and turbans, made from cotton dyed by hand using ancestral techniques. The dye, which does not completely fix to the fabric, gradually transfers to the skin, leaving faces and hands marked with a bluish tint. This coloring not only distinguishes them visually, but in ancient times it was believed that the blue color gave them spiritual protection against evil spirits and the evil eye. In addition, the dark color helped absorb sweat and regulate body temperature, becoming a symbol of both identity and resilience in one of the most hostile environments on the planet. This Berber group has developed codes of survival, as ancient as the dunes they inhabit, passed down orally from generation to generation. It is said that the Tuareg know ancestral secrets that allow them to endure for decades in a region so extreme that most humans would not survive a single week. In these harsh conditions, surprising realities occur. If they are caught in a sandstorm and their camel dies, they sometimes cut open the animal and shelter inside it during the night to protect themselves from the extreme cold of the desert. Another common resource is to sleep in wells or depressions in the ground, covered with thick blankets to insulate themselves from the wind and sand. In addition, when they run out of water, they know how to extract it from plant roots or the subsoil, using techniques that are passed down from generation to generation. Their mastery of the desert is not only physical, but also spiritual, as if they had forged a silent pact with the sands of the Sahara. The Tuareg live mainly in Mauritania, Mali, Algeria, and Libya. Their ancestral language, Tamashek, is written in a unique alphabet, Tifinagh, an ancient script that is still passed down from generation to generation. This language not only preserves the oral history of the Tuareg people, but is also a symbol of cultural resistance in the face of modernity. The contrasts in Mauritanian societies are as striking as they are authentic, and among the Tuareg, these contrasts are most pronounced. In a radical departure from other Muslim cultures, among the Tuareg, it is the men who hide their faces rather than the women. That is why one of the most iconic elements of this community is the male veil, known as tagelmust, which covers the faces of men from puberty onwards. This veil not only protects them from the scorching sun and sandstorms of the Sahara, but also has a deep spiritual value, as according to their tradition, a man must never show his mouth to an elder or a person of higher status. Furthermore, in this society, it is women who hold a position of power that is rare in the Muslim world. Tuareg women enjoy exceptional freedom. They can inherit property, divorce without stigma, and actively participate in family and social decision-making. In many cases, they are the ones who choose their partners and lovers, a reality that completely breaks with the traditional patterns of Islamic patriarchy. As you can see, in this desert culture, it is often the women who are in charge. If you were as surprised by this fact as we were, like the video so that we can continue discovering the world every week, and more people can learn about what really happens in the heart of the Sahara. Thank you. Surviving in the Ténéré Desert requires ancestral knowledge, a distinctive and unique trait of the Tuareg. This ancient community has mastered the art of reading the desert like few others. The Tuareg are able to find hidden oases hundreds of kilometers away, guided only by the position of the stars, the winds, and the tracks in the sand. They know the secret language of the desert. They know when a buzzing sound in the air announces the proximity of an underground spring, or how the erratic flight of a bird can indicate the presence of water. They observe the behavior of livestock, insects, and even the color of the sky to predict sandstorms or changes in weather. This ancestral wisdom, passed down orally from generation to generation, is vital for survival in the Ténéré, one of the most inhospitable places on the planet. For the Tuareg, salt is a vital component, not only as a preservative, but also as a means of helping to retain fluids in conditions of extreme dehydration. During the day, they protect themselves alongside camels, essential animals that provide them with transportation, milk, and even shade from the scorching desert sun. But when night falls, the heat disappears suddenly, and temperatures can drop below freezing. To survive the extreme cold, the Tuareg employ surprising techniques. They wrap their bodies in multiple layers of cotton robes and blankets, which trap body heat, and often huddle close to camels, whose bodies emit natural heat that helps keep them warm. One of the most fascinating practices of the Tuareg is importing ice by truck to desert villages. Without access to electricity, these blocks of ice are transported for hours to preserve food, or simply to cool drinks in the middle of the Saharan oven. In the vast dunes surrounding Nouakchott and other regions of Mauritania, every year the Tuareg hold exciting camel races, an ancestral event that tests not only the endurance of these noble desert animals, but also the skill, balance, and strategy of their riders. But these cities are not only famous for their nomadic traditions, but also for their unique architectural gems. Built of mud and wood, these structures reach various heights, making them examples of architecture adapted to the extreme desert. Its pointed minaret, visible from miles away, has guided generations of travelers and traders through the desert. The entire country is full of similar wonders, with entire villages built of mud, where the buildings seem to be sculpted by the wind and sun, as if emerging directly from the dunes. These clay monuments, sometimes as tall as a 3-story building, are true earthen fortresses that defy time and extreme weather, reminding visitors that in this part of the world, architecture, like life itself, must also adapt to the wild. The Tuareg continue to trade in nomadic markets that change like the dunes of the desert, as they only appear once a month. At these temporary gatherings, animals, salt, fabrics, and other goods essential to their nomadic lifestyle are exchanged. But what is most striking is not only what is traded, but how. Tuareg women, free and with a strong social presence, walk among the stalls wearing silver jewelry and traditional facial tattoos, attracting attention and starring in a kind of natural parade of nomadic beauty, where commitments and alliances are also made. These markets not only sustain the economy of nomadic peoples, but also their social and cultural fabric. And although it may seem contradictory in the middle of the desert, one of the most abundant items in these markets is baguette bread. Seeing these loaves of crusty bread stacked under the Sahara sun may seem surreal, but their presence here is a direct legacy of the French colonial past, so ingrained that today it is part of the daily life of many families, even in the most isolated corners of the country. Dressed in loose tunics and turbans that cover every inch of their bodies, the Tuareg travel miles on foot or by camel in temperatures that reach 50 degrees Celsius. In this extreme climate, clothing is not a simple accessory, but a vital barrier between the body and the desert. The light color reflects light, the natural fibers allow perspiration, and the loose fit creates air currents that protect from the scorching heat. Here, choosing the right outfit can mean the difference between life and death. If you've made it this far, you probably want to know more about these very different realities in one of the most fascinating countries on the planet. That's why we at Uncensored World have done extensive research to bring you the most comprehensive information. What's more, Mauritania is one of the cheapest countries in the world, especially for travelers from Europe or America, thanks to its very affordable prices for accommodation, transportation, and food. Getting to Mauritania is relatively easy from Europe. There are direct flights from Paris, Madrid, and some cities in northern France and Spain to the capital, Nouakchott. From the Americas, the connection usually requires a stopover in Europe, generally in Paris or Madrid. As for visas, most visitors must apply for one before traveling, although citizens of some European countries can obtain one upon arrival. It is always advisable to check the latest information at the embassy before planning your trip. In terms of safety, Mauritania is relatively stable compared to other countries in the region, but there are areas in the north and on the border with Mali where it is recommended to exercise caution. Travelers should avoid traveling at night, respect local customs, and in certain areas, it is advisable to hire an experienced local guide. In general, major cities such as Nouakchott and Nouadhibou are safe for tourists, although it is always advisable to take basic precautions. Travel within the country can be done by rental car, local minibuses, or shared taxis. To explore more remote regions, especially the deserts and areas inhabited by the Tuareg, it is advisable to hire local guides who are familiar with the area, caravan routes, and the customs of nomadic communities. Travel costs are surprisingly low by Western standards. A hotel for 2 people in Nouakchott usually costs between $20 and $30 per night, while dinner for 2 at a local restaurant can cost around $10 to $15. Guided tours to visit traditional markets, such as those for divorced women in some villages, or to explore areas inhabited by the Tuareg, cost approximately $30 to $50 per person, depending on the duration and transportation included. As you can probably understand, Mauritania offers a unique experience with desert landscapes, ancient cultures, and surprising traditions, all accessible even to travelers on a limited budget. With planning and respect for local customs, it is possible to have unforgettable adventures exploring this country so different from the Western world. At Uncensored World, we hope that this tour of Mauritania has been as exciting for you as it has been for us. With that in mind, and considering the effort that goes into making these videos, we would love for you to leave us a like and a comment. It's the best way you can help us continue to bring you the best content every week. If you enjoyed this video and are not yet subscribed, don't wait any longer and do so now by activating the bell so you don't miss the videos we make every week. Videos like this one that you can enjoy now, to discover one of the most enigmatic corners of the planet. Don't miss out and discover the wonders this place has to offer.